Hi, this is Michael William Denny of ThunderShamanism.com, and today I want to talk to you about how to choose the right spiritual teacher for you. So, you know, in India nowadays, they have what's called the God men, and these are gurus. These are spiritual teachers that people come and they worship, and they treat them as gods. They worship them. And you hear a lot of talk about the God men, and there's actually some controversy about it because some of these teachers have turned out to be huge frauds. I could name names, teachers you've probably heard of, that turned out to be frauds. I'm going to name a couple in the Western world. One is, this is going to piss some people off, one is Osho. Osho is very popular in the New Age movement, but the guy was a fraud. The guy was a drug addict. He was trying to run a cult. He was very physically sick. He wasn't at all what he represented, and he was all about the money. If you remember, he used to be Bhagwan Rajneesh, and he changed his name. But when he was Bhagwan Rajneesh, he had like this fleet of Rolls Royces, and he tried to buy a town, and there's all this stuff about, maybe his followers tried to kill people, all this kind of weird crap. Another one that you may have heard of. Now this person is very popular as well, and I'm going to go so far as to say the man was a genius, even though I don't think he was very spiritual on a personal level. And this was Carlos Castaneda. He was an absolute fraud, total fraud. He made all of it up. His writings are brilliant, though, and this is, this is an example of how the universe can transmit knowledge, to anybody, if you're willing, the universe is looking for whomever they can transmit knowledge through. And so Carlos Castaneda was one. Now, he personally did not do any of this stuff. He was a complete fraud. He tried to, create a cult, and there are people that killed themselves when he died and all this kind of crazy stuff. You can look that up too. What you're really doing is that you are understanding that the teacher is nothing more than a symbol. If he or she is doing his or her job, the universe is going to transmit knowledge through them from the ascended masters. And so the student, when they first start to work with a true teacher, they will have very powerful experiences. And I've had this experience a lot. And trust me, I'm not a God man. I'm a real person with, real life. I've got problems just like everybody else. I'm as human as you are. But I've had this experience too when I teach people energy practices, and when I'll be teaching with people and they'll feel this power coming through me, which I won't be aware of, but they'll experience it and they start to see me as something I'm not. Now, I have to make sure that I don't encourage that because I am human. But on the other hand, I've got to let them have their experience because that's not about me. That's between them and their guides, and I'm just simply the conduit between the two of them. And if I take that experience away from them, that could affect their ability to be open to learn and to change and to grow. But eventually, at some point, when somebody works with me long enough, they will find out that I'm human. And then at some point, they have to decide, whether or not they want to stay with me because they want to learn or because they want something else that I can't give them. And so that's the real, true mark of a student. When the student can bump into the humanity of the teacher and go, oh, he or she isn't a god, he or she isn't different than me, they just have more knowledge than I do. And then they have to go, but does he or she have something I need to learn? And then at that point, they can learn from the teacher. Then, in my experience, that's when the real learning begins. And now I can really teach them because they're not focused on me, they're focused on what knowledge I can give them. And then it's very exciting. So it's really important that you understand that. And any teacher who allows themselves to be seen as something more than human, you have to be careful with them, especially those that say that they're more than human. There's some teachers out there, I could throw out against some names, that have these really professional photos. They got ads all over the internet, and they're wearing the turban and the thing, and they look, and they let people think they're some kind of evolved, perfected, whatever. But so when you're looking for a teacher, I definitely encourage you to find somebody who has power, if that's what you're looking for, but make sure that they understand that they're human. And we've been talking about apprenticeship a lot, and I want to answer some questions and I'm going to clear up some things. So Anyway, that's my little talk about that. If you're interested in apprenticeship, click on the link below. If you're interested in the most powerful energetic practice I've ever encountered, practiced, and taught, click on the Celestial Qigong button below. If you want to learn more about me, all my books, click on thundershamanism.com. Until next time.